Go.
Okay, this is the final video. Number 6 out of 6. You're gonna play in your pool all summer long, and then there's gonna come the sad day when you have to put it to bed for the winter. It's critical that you put your pool to bed clean. If you put it to bed clean, when you take the cover off in May, it's going to be clean. If you put it to bed dirty, it's going to be dirty, and it's going to make your life more difficult getting the pool back to where it needs to be. So keep the pool vacuumed. You don't want to put the pool to bed with any leaves in it, any branches, nothing like that. A couple important points about the water level of the pool. Over the course of the summer, a pool will naturally lose water, primarily through evaporation, okay? So you may have to add a little bit of water. It's best to keep the water level as high as possible. There's a blue band around the edges. You want to keep the water as high as possible. Why is that? Well, the reason you do that is ultraviolet light from the sun. The sun rises over here in the east, sets in the west over here. The sun is beating down on this pool, which is great because when you're swimming, you want direct sunlight here. It's just for a better experience. Now that sunlight, when the sun hits the vinyl liner, over time, the ultraviolet rays can deteriorate the liner. If you have water all the way to the top, the sun's rays don't interact with the vinyl as aggressively, and it will help to extend the life of your liner. Now, when you vacuum, be gentle. There are people that'll get out there very aggressively with the vacuum and end up tearing the liner. You want to be very, very gentle. So be gentle with the way you vacuum the pool. When you put the pool to bed, and this is counterintuitive, you want to put this pool to bed with water right to the top, right to the very top. The absolute worst thing you can do is to drain water out of the pool and let it set that way. Because what will happen is the liner will shrink, you can have all kinds of problems. So keep the pool full to the maximum throughout the entire winter. Now, on really cold winters, this pool has frozen 12, 15 inches deep on an exceptionally cold winter. Doesn't harm the pool in any way. Okay, so a couple things you have to do. In your first season, you may want to hire someone like Northern Pool and Spa to winterize your pool. If you winterize your pool correctly, you're not going to have any problems whatsoever in the spring. But if you don't winterize it, you're going to have problems. So you may want to hire someone like Northern Pool and Spa for the first year, in case you're not interested in doing this stuff. If they do come out, you want to watch them very carefully. You want to watch them very carefully because you want to see what they're doing and then say, wow, that's not too hard. I can do that myself. So maybe for the first year you have someone else do it. But this is what I do. I've never hired anyone. What you want to do is you want to protect the lines. There are lines running from this skimmer port underground, relatively shallow, over to the filter. And on the return lines, they come back, they go underneath here, they run all the way to the bottom of the pool. But at some point, obviously, those lines have to come close to the surface, as in like right here. you get an exceptionally cold winter, there's a reason why we have a 4-foot frost. It can conceivably freeze 4 feet down. And you don't want those pipes full of water to freeze and explode. Why? Because you're going to have to jackhammer this up, and it's going to be a nightmare. So do not neglect to winterize your pool. Now, what do? Obviously, I can't demonstrate exactly what I do, but I'm going to describe it very briefly. What I do is, I want to get all the water out of all the lines. There's a line going from here to there, and there are lines going, the return lines that blow the clean water, this line going back to the filter, and at the opposite end of the pool, there's that other little vent. So what I do is this. I put a little sump pump in the pool, and I drain down the water. I pump out the water. You just hook up a hose, just drain it to the street. You're not harming anything. It's pool water. I could drink the water. So I draw the water down to, go stand over there and shoot this way. I draw the water down to just below there. Then what I do is I come over to the...
No, do it again.
I drain it to just below the vent.
Wait. Okay.
Okay. Then what I do, I come over to the... So now the pool is drawn down. And I'm going to, obviously, the pool pump is going to be off. What I do is I disconnect this. I disconnect this valve, basically. I disconnect this. I disconnect it here. I take this, I rinse it, and I take this and I store it in my basement. But the motor itself, I replaced this motor maybe 10 years ago, but the original motor was maybe 20 years old and I replaced it. This pump has lived outside in the elements for 10 years with no issues whatsoever. It's completely sealed, okay? So you're going to disconnect the various fittings, and then what you're going to do is, I use a shop vac. I hook it up to this line here, and I'll basically blow air into the lines. I'll hook the shop vac up, and I will blow the water out of the lines. And you'll hook it up, you put it on the blow function of the vacuum, and you'll see water shooting out. And when no more water comes out and there's just air, I know that that line has no water and there's no danger of anything freezing. I also, just as a preventive measure, I put a little, it's not antifreeze, it's a special solution that they use on like RV water systems. It's non-toxic. I add a little bit of that just as an added precaution. Okay, so I blow all the water out, and then I take these little white caps. I don't have one with me, but it's just a little cap, and I screw it into here to seal it off. To seal that off, and then I get a garden hose and I fill the pool back up. I fill the pool back up. Okay? You fill the pool back up right to the tippy top. I cover it with an inexpensive Home Depot cover, and it'll sleep all winter. It'll be a hockey rink during the winter months, but the ice does not harm it in any way. And that pretty much sums it up. 6 videos. I pretty much covered everything, but I encourage you to go on the internet and read about pool maintenance. But I've covered a lot of ground here, all the big stuff. And it looks like I've done a lot, like with the DE powder. You're only doing that twice a season. And that bag of shock, 1 bag a week. Keep those in that little dispenser here, keep that full with about 3 or 4 of those pucks. Vacuum your pool twice a week, and you're gonna have great fun out here. We have had enormous fun with this pool. So that pretty much concludes it. I hope this has helped. You're gonna do just fine with it. Thank you.